Well, well, well. It appears you've dared to return for Chapter 2. Zombie. Ah! I jump backwards into Chet and catches screams. There is a man outside. He's wearing a torn polo shirt with the Crater Lake logo on it. His jeans are dirty and shredded. He's bleeding from at least 6 different places that I can see, the worst injury being a gash across the side of his head. As I watch, a fresh gush of blood trickles quickly down his face. I've witnessed a lot of nasty stuff in my life, but I've never seen something bleed like that before. Aside from the blood, the bruises, and the clothes that look like they've been attacked by a lawnmower, the most horrible thing about him is his eyes. They're bright red and swollen, and the skin around them is purpley black. It sags off his face like a half-deflated bouncy castle from some kind of sick Halloween party. The guy is messed up. "Zombie!" Chet shouts, and the chaos of the crash that almost happened seems like a tea party compared to what happens next. Half of the class scream and panic, trying to grab their most precious possessions before realizing all they have with them is junk because it's a school trip and you aren't allowed to bring your decent stuff. And hiding under the seats is their best chance instead. The other half of the class bulldoze towards my bit of the window in excitement, desperately trying to see the Crater Lake zombie before the teachers pull us away for our own protection, like they'd be able to save us from a zombie apocalypse. I don't think he's a real zombie, I say. If he was a zombie, he would have eaten people, and there are no bits of intestines between his teeth. You're right, Lance, Catcher says. He actually has very nice teeth. I think he's just hurt. Maybe we ran him over. I didn't feel us hit anything, and I reckon he'd be way more broken if we had, says Big Mac. This coach must weigh at least 10 tons. If we'd hit him, he'd be splattered all across the floor. Someone really ought to go and help him. Adrian pushes through the kids towards the teachers. That man needs first aid urgently. Dale, his name is Dale, Catcher says. I always knew Catcher was a witch, Trent says. She has those creepy eyes that can obviously see in the dark, and now we know she can read minds. Oh, shut up, Trent. I turn on him, wanting so much to punch him in his nasty mouth. Catcher is not a witch. It says Dale on his name badge. At least the teachers develop the courage to open the coach door and go outside. Dale is staggering around, his eyes half closed. He's practically unconscious when Mr. Tompkins approaches him. Dale, are you all right, mate? Obviously, Dale is not okay, but Mr. Tompkins is an all right guy, so I let it pass. Dale doesn't respond. Dale, why don't you come over to the side of the road? We can lay you down while we get help. No! Dale suddenly comes to life. Need water! Can someone pass some water for him? Mr. Tompkins calls. Bears! Dale shouts, grabbing Mr. Tompkins with his crusty hands. He smears blood and some kind of green mush all over the pink t-shirt Mr. Tompkins wears for every multi-school event because he thinks it's really trendy. Calm down, Dale. You're hurt. You've had a bump on the head. Get on the coach. Turn around. Get us away. Dale is ranting and swaying. They'll get us if we stay here. They'll get us all. Finally, he loses his battle with sanity/consciousness and keels over in the road, dropping like Santa's sack at the end of his Christmas Eve deliveries. Miss Rani runs out with a towel to put under his head. He flaps his hands around weakly and looks like he might try to get up. But at last, he goes limp and still. Like a rotting goldfish, I say, as Mr. Tompkins starts to cover him with a blanket. OMG, he's dead! Atul shouts. I don't think he's dead. Probably just passed out from the blood loss or shock. Big Mac seems strangely knowledgeable about threatening injuries. Or he has a concussion, says Adrian. I hope he's not dead, Catcher says, rubbing the grimy windows with her sleeve to try and see more clearly. No, look, Mr. Tompkins hasn't covered his head. They always put a blanket over their face if they're dead. If he isn't dead, I say, he soon will be with that blanket over him. It's about 1,000,000 degrees today. Pfft, poor guy. We watch as the adults, who supposedly know exactly what they're doing in situations like this, have a worried chat amongst themselves. Finally, Hock gets back on the coach. Right, children, it's your lucky day. You get to start your Crater Lake adventure really early. Is the dead guy part of the experience? Big Mac asks. Don't be ridiculous, Maxim. The chap outside has just had a bit of a bump on the head, so he's having a lie down while he waits here for some medical attention. He's perfectly fine. We look through the blood-smeared window at the half-dead zombie Dale. Miss Hock really does talk a load of garbage. The driver is going to wait with him, and we're going on the rest of the way to the activity centre on foot, with the luggage. It will be like a cross-country hike. Ha ha ha! Of course, everyone groans. Ugh. It's too hot to move, let alone drag our massive bags down a gravelly road. 10 minutes later, we're walking down the road in twos, loaded down with masses of stuff. See you in a few days, Miss Hock calls to the driver. We'll call for help as soon as we get to somewhere with a landline phone. Have fun, kids, the driver nods to us, sweat dripping off his nose. Eyes forward, please, children, Hock says, as we pass Not Dead Dale and his blood-splattered section of the road. Aren't we fortunate to be surrounded by such beautiful countryside and on such a lovely day? Not such a lovely day for Dale, Catcher says, looking at him sadly. How far do you think it is? Chet asks, looking around nervously. Do you think there are bandits in the woods? Big Mac, Catcher, and I burst out laughing. What is it? What's funny? Only you would use the word bandits, Chet, Mac says. I don't think there are any bandits outside of the wild, wild west, I say, pushing the strap of my backpack further onto my shoulder because it's starting to dig in. Well, someone attacked the guy, Chet says. And did you hear what he was saying to Mr. Tompkins, says Catcher? All that stuff about having to turn back, or they'll get us all. He might have been hallucinating. Heat exhaustion, or the bang on the head. Big Mac is the only one of us apparently not struggling with his bags. I swear he's part giant. Maybe he was mugged, Catcher says. I don't think so. Muggers lurk in dark alleyways or park bushes. They don't hang around in the woods. They have to stay near the fried chicken shops because that's where they get their food. Chet says this with a completely straight face. This is why we love him. He's nuts. We laugh so hard. So, we've ruled out zombies and muggers, I say. What's left? Badgers with a vendetta? Orcs, says Matt. Tree monsters, says Catcher. Alien body snatchers, I joke. And even Chet laughs this time. Oh, you were probably right the first time, Chet. It'll be those pesky bandits. We'd better get to this rubbish activity centre and call the sheriff. As we trudge round the corner, I see the looming gates of Crater Lake, starkly black against the clear blue sky. And we are on chapter 3. Dare you return for Entering the Crater. See you soon.